everyone. Thank you for joining, and thank you to the Skerries Eco Festival and Skerries Sustainability for organising this and having me as a speaker. I'll wait for everyone to get settled. Okay, cool. So thank you for being here, and thank you guys for organising this. I'll go on to our next slide. So I am with Clean Coasts. My name is Aisling. I'm the Dublin Development Officer, so I work with community groups in the Dublin area. You can see in the picture here, you see the photos at the top. That is from our Love Your Coast photography competition. I know that as part of this festival, there was also a photography competition, so perhaps people who took part in that would be interested in entering this next year. So last year it was launched in February on Valentine's Day. Be like Love Your Coast. So just so you guys know, we will have that photography competition again next year. And just to introduce Clean Coasts as an organisation, so Clean Coasts is a charity under Taisce. So the Clean Coast programme works with communities to help protect and care for Ireland's waterways, coastlines, seas, ocean and marine life. So our focus really is on communities. The people who do volunteer with us, they're fantastic people, they do fantastic work. And this presentation is primarily on simple ways to protect the marine environment. Okay, so today's talk, who Clean Coasts are and what we do, a little bit on marine litter and on some community actions. So these are some of the things that Clean Coast does, including the Love Your Coast photography competition, Clean Coast grants over on the side over there, World Ocean Day, and last weekend we had the big beach clean. So Skerries Tidy Towns and Skerries Walking Club ran a clean up last weekend as part of the big beach clean, where we tried to get as many community groups to go out as possible and do a cleanup, which is part of an international initiative to record marine litter that is found. So Clean Coasts was really busy last year. I'm quite new, I only began in April, so I wasn't around for 2024, but 2025 is very busy as well. So we organised 18 road shows, more than 40 nature-based actions, and celebrated World Sand Dune Day. At the moment we have more than 2,000 registered groups, more than 40,000 volunteers, and activities include cleanups, invasive species removal, marram grass planting, running festivals, other events. So there's you might think, oh, just cleanups, but there's lots and lots of other things as well, and these are sample of some of the groups that we have around Ireland. Oh, there we go. Okay, so on marine litter, that's obviously where a lot of our focus is. Earlier in the year, there was a survey done by IBAL, Irish Business Against Litter, and this survey did actually find the most favourable results that they have in 8 years. So that's really good news. This was all beaches and near waterways. And we put this down to the amazing work that the Clean Coast groups and Tidy Towns groups have been doing. So just so you guys all know that the actions that people have been taking have been making a positive impact. So that's really, really great news. This is a little bit of a sadder slide. So this is some of the impacts that marine litter can have. So it can alter habitats, cause a loss in biodiversity, entanglement, ingestion. A term that I learned quite recently is called plasticosis. So plasticosis is when organisms are consuming plastic, and even if it passes the whole way through, it can still scratch the whole way through, and that causes scar tissue. So even if it doesn't cause mortality, even if it doesn't kill an organism, it can still reduce the effectiveness of their digestive system. So that's plasticosis, and it just means that this is a way, by going out and removing the litter before it goes into the marine environment, it helps to prevent all of these sad things from happening. So this is globally, the top 10 things that people find when doing the beach cleanup. So the big beach clean is part of Ocean Conservancy. So when people are going out and doing the big beach clean, there are also people going out and doing similar cleanups all around the world, recording the data, submitting it to the Ocean Conservancy, and they produce reports every year. Number one, you can see over there, cigarette butts. We go out and do cleanups quite regularly with groups, and we might find 50 cigarette butts, we might find 100, we might find 200 cigarette butts within about a 2-hour period. So this is per person, like 50, 100, 200 cigarette butts, and we might have 20 people out. So when you multiply that up, you can kind of get an idea of how many cigarette butts you actually do find. So that's a small thing that people can do. If anybody here does smoke, just popping your cigarette butt in the bin makes a really big difference. Some of the other top litter items in Ireland include fishing litter and like plastic wrappers. So encouraging people to pop plastic wrappers in the bin, it makes a really big difference as well. And just to note on litter, so there is the return scheme, which has been a really big success. 1.6 billion plastic cans and bottles have been returned, which is really good. It is unfortunately not a sustainable option, so when plastic is recycled, it gets downgraded each time. It's not possible to recycle a plastic bottle and then produce the same quality plastic bottle the next time. So it's really great that it is encouraging people to properly dispose of their plastic bottles and cans, but it's not the solution. And also in things like, the plastic bag levy and the European directive banning some single-use plastics, that all has a really positive impact. So you can see over here, so this is global again. Over here, globally, plastic bags are a really common litter item, but in Ireland, that isn't the case. That's not one of the top couple litter items because of the plastic bag levy. We're not finding like plastic forks or plastic spoons or things like that. So just if anybody is coming up to elections, knocking door to door, just supporting these kinds of actions, it does make a tangible difference, and we do see it on our cleanups. So that's important to note as well. There are lots of sources of marine litter. I'm going to focus on our toilets and our drains for this next little section. I know a few of you guys have visited me over at the Clean Coast table, so you've already heard this, but just to go over it again. So this is part of our Think Before You Pour campaign. I'm just going to quickly show you this. So this is a fat berg. So this is when fats, oils and greases get poured down the drain. It all sticks in the drain. Even if it's liquid at room temperature, it will cool and solidify when it goes into the drain itself. And it is possible to avoid this forming. So it is best to wipe and scrape plates before washing, to collect all used cooking oil into a suitable container and use strainers in sink plug holes and empty into a suitable bin. So sometimes people can pour like their fats, oils and greases into like a cardboard egg carton, which can go into your compost bin. Or if you're doing a lot of deep frying, you can wait for the oil to cool and then pour it into a container, which can go to your recycling centre. It'd be worth giving them a call first just to double check that they do take the oil, because not all of them do. But you can bring your used cooking oils to recycling centres. And again, that is to prevent the buildup of a fatberg. Okay, and this is our next one. So think before you flush. There are 3 things that you can flush down the toilet, and they all begin with P. Does anybody have any guesses what these 3 things beginning with P are? So we have toilet paper, we have pee, and we have poo. Nothing else should get flushed down the drain. So this includes hair, it includes cotton earbuds, it includes sanitary items. And in our next slide, we can see some lovely wet wipes, which have been flushed down the toilet. They've ended up in the marine environment. Wet wipes are particularly bad as well because they kind of clog up the water treatment system. So that's not great. But it can also end up in our marine environments if it goes the whole way through. You might notice this beach in the background is quite local to here. So there was the big beach clean last weekend. So these are sanitary items. These are pads that were flushed down the toilet in Skerries, and they were washed up. It was in amongst all of the seaweed over there. So just so you know, try and not flush your stuff down the toilet unless it's the 3 Ps, pee, poo and paper. So this was part of our Break Up With Plastic campaign. This was focused around Valentine's Day. So these are all Valentine's type related things. And this is just a simple way to reduce the amount of plastic that you are using. So using reusable shopping bags instead of buying flowers in plastic, opting for paper or another way. And then at the bottom, using lunch boxes rather than, Ziploc plastic bags. The amount of Ziploc plastic bags I would use if I didn't use a lunchbox, it would be an absurd amount. And then I know Skerries Tidy Towns are doing fantastic work on trying to encourage cafes and stuff to not charge for a coffee cup if you're bringing reusable coffee cups, so that's fantastic. And the IBAL survey that I mentioned earlier, the Irish Businesses Against Litter survey, they found that there were a lot of disposable coffee cups on their survey, so that's good to note as well. Just making this swap, it does make a big difference as well. And this is another simple thing that people can do. So this is our 2-minute beach clean campaign. This basically is encouraging people, so if you're out going for a lovely walk on the beach, maybe just picking up a couple of items while you're out, it does make a little difference. So say everyone who went to the beach picked up a couple of things and popped it in a bin, it'd make a huge difference for the beach overall. And if you would hashtag 2-minute beach clean and at us at CleanCus, that would be great as well. Okay, and then I just want to focus on communities. So this is the core of what we do. We support communities around the coast of Ireland as best we can. These guys are fantastic, amazing people, and it is really, really fantastic the work that they do. Some of the cool things that have been going on in this kind of area include Rush Tidy Towns / Rush Clean Coast, they have done some marram grass planting. There will be some more again next year. If you guys want to be kept up to date, you can sign up to our Clean Coast newsletter on our website. So marram grass planting is in the fight against coastal erosion. Dune systems are really, really important. The marram grass holds all the sand together and it stops it blowing away. When people are trampling on sand dunes, or if there are other impacts to the sand dunes that negatively impacts on the plants can die off, and then it just means that the sand will blow away. So marram grass planting is taking plants from the same stretch of coastline, but taking it from a healthy area, individual plants, and then planting it in an area that needs a bit more stabilization. So you can see these little plants here, and they have some seaweed around the bottom to bring in a little bit of nutrients as well. So that's a really cool thing that is happening in loads of different places around Ireland. Rathfarnham Tidy Towns had this great project, a Shore to Sea campaign, so focusing on these storm drains. So trying to get people to make the connection of these storm drains, they do end up in our waterways, they do end up in our seas and our coastline. And they worked with TY students, Rathfarnham Tidy Towns, they worked with TY students to do these paintings, which sounded like a fantastic program. They did note when I was speaking with them that the TY students thought that cigarette butts were biodegradable. Just to remind everyone, cigarette butts made of plastic, full of carcinogens, big bad. But that was a cool project that a group did. Another cool project, so this group is down in Wexford. They get a lot of waste from fishing. So they've started upcycling it. In this instance, they upcycled their fishing waste into these cool lanterns so that they could bring their lanterns out on their Dark Skies lantern walk. Really well attended, really cool, imaginative project that these guys were working on. They've also repurposed lobster pots to be those little cat tunnels or mini greenhouses and stuff. So oh my gosh, just how imaginative people are, it's fantastic, it really is. And you guys might recognize this beautiful beach, or maybe some of these, well, it's probably a little blurry. So this was the big beach clean last weekend. This was with Skerries Tidy Towns and Skerries Walking Club. Skerries Tidy Towns have signed up as a Clean Coast group, which is fantastic. So that means that I, as the Dublin Development Officer, will be able to give more time and resources to supporting the group, and it also means that Skerries Tidy Towns will be able to apply for our community grants scheme. So we're absolutely delighted that they've joined up and hoping to offer loads of support into the future. We have a couple of events coming up. So North Bull Island Conservation Mehel. So this is Saturday 11th and Sunday 12th of October to get people trained up on the removal of sea buckthorn, which is an invasive plant, and also doing some mapping on the National Biodiversity Data Centre database. We also have this coming up. So this is in Greystones, but we will be running more of these trainings next year. So you can sign up, keep an eye on our social media, sign up to our newsletter on our website. So this is in conjunction with the National Biodiversity Data Centre, the Clean Coast Observer Programme, encouraging people to go out, become citizen scientists, record data that can be used by anybody. It's open source data. It can be used by anybody from now and into the future. Just encouraging people to record shells or different marine life that they're finding while out on beaches or in rock pools. So this next one is going to be in Greystones on the 2nd of November, if you guys are interested this year, but we will be running more again next year. And whoops. Thanks for listening. And if you guys will be happy to follow us on social media, you'll make our social media manager this happy. Thank you so much, everyone.